Hello, welcome back to another video. This is the final part to the East Broad Top video. I hope you guys enjoy.
Second one this week.
What a beautiful Baldwin engine. Yep. Good old Millie. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We know why engineers are
You gotta look up in here. This is a deckless engine. It has no deck. Yeah.
You're right beside the boiler. You're not in front of it.
I know. And if that thing tips over, the boiler's gonna crush you. And something like that has happened.
I know. Yeah, you're representing high school. So you know your weight up.
Exactly.
You're a skinny guy.
Yep.
Well, yeah, steam engines, yeah.
Hey, I would not mind that myself.
Of course you would. Just foamer. I'm kidding.
People realize the safety implications of it.
Deserves.
So, folks, if you could come back towards the door where we came in. Blair, do we got everybody?
One or two more back here coming. About 5 more.
The reason I ask is anyone left behind will be put to work.
All right, sure.
Dave will have you sweeping up.
All right.
I had a feeling this wouldn't be much of a trek for people. All right,
Once you do it, you won't do it again.
folks. The next part of our tour here is going to take us over towards the Stone House across the way there. As we do, however, I'm going to engage in what I like to call a walk and talk. Meaning as I keep talking about the turntable, please keep walking. It provides a very nice transition over to that Stone House and gets us over there a little bit quicker. Alrighty? Follow me this way, folks.
Walk really quick.
This place is just amazing.
It is amazing.
So, folks, as we engage in this walk and talk, I promise to talk about the turntable. It is a 65-foot turntable, and it's actually the third turntable on the property.
Huh.
Reason we got it? Well, you actually just saw the reason. We were getting bigger and newer locomotives, so we needed a bigger and newer turntable. And we found this one out of a rail yard in Albany, New York. If you know anything about Albany, you know that's standard gauge territory. Luckily, it's real easy to narrow gauge a turntable. You just move the rails closer together. It worked very well for many years running off of an air motor. It worked so well, in fact, that they used it until it wore out.
Nah.
Well, the railroad still needed its turntable at that point in order to move stuff in and out of the roundhouse. So in order to accomplish that, they fixed the issue very efficiently, but very simply. They found 2 lengths of pipe, put one on either end, and called it an Armstrong turntable. So named because you had to be Armstrong in order to turn it. Don't worry, folks, if that 86-ton, 60-foot long locomotive is perfectly balanced, you can turn it with 2 people. However, that locomotive is 60 feet long, as I mentioned, and with a 65-foot turntable, that's not a whole lot of wiggle room. So if it's a little off, you can still turn it, so long as you have a few friends in order to help you.
A few friends.
And folks, just like that, guess what? We ended up at the Stone House, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Folks, the Stone House is actually the oldest building here on the property. And it is the only building that predates the railroad. That's right, it is older than our railroad. The reason is it was the farmer's house whose land the railroad bought to build the rail yard. That's right, where you're standing was a fertile farm field. And this house, when the railroad bought it, got turned into the master mechanic's office through that bay window right there. And that person door about halfway through the front there got turned into the crew reporting and rest area where your crews could get coffee, their train orders, and if they were in the area at lunchtime, they could have lunch. However, the second floor became the domain of the parts department, which leads me to a point a little later on, but sometimes people wonder how old this building is. The answer is we don't have an exact date. However, we do have a tax receipt from 1793, which means it was likely built sometime during 1792, and then finally the U.S. government found out about it. So it's a pretty old building, and that's why it's at a little bit different of an angle to everything else in town here. But I mentioned that second floor being the domain of the parts department, which leads me very neatly onto our next location, which is a little this way.
Oh, water spout. This is awesome.
Gather this way. I'm going to point out to you that parts department in the form of Storehouse 1 and Storehouse 2, which are these two buildings. And this is actually where that volunteer group called the Friends of the East Broad Top comes into play. The Friends of the East Broad Top are a volunteer organization. They help the railroad out with both supplying the tour guides, because Blair and I are volunteers, and they also help out in the form of historic building restoration, historic rail car restoration, track work, and our track expansion. That's right, we are expanding. We're one of the few tourist lines in the country that can say we're doing that. We're going 9 miles that way to the town of Saltillo, and we're actually making some pretty good progress. We have about 2.5 miles of track laid leading towards Southern Huntington County High School, and we actually do have rides available on that trackage on select days. They usually coincide with our Trackside Taste and Tunes event, and the reason is that 3 o'clock train, instead of going north to Colgate Grove, will instead go south as far as we can go. And the reason I bring up the Friends is because that's the organization that fundraises for a lot of the material used in that expansion and provides a lot of the labor here today, and actually is, again, as I mentioned earlier, the people in those orange shirts you see running around here today, because this is one of their work weekends. It costs $35 to join the Friends as a member, and that's as an individual. From there, we have $45 family memberships and other memberships that go up from there. And for that money, you get a monthly newsletter, a quarterly magazine, as well as the opportunity to come here and help out on select work weekends. It's a lot of fun, though it's a lot of hard work. And we use this as an example of their work because, well, Storehouse 1, if you notice, looks relatively new. You probably wouldn't believe me if I told you that this building has been here since about the 1880s. So it's been here for a long time. Now the Friends came in, lifted it up because that window there was becoming a very nice doorway. All 25 tons of parts then came out by hand, thanks to Friends labor. And once the building was raised up by a contractor, all 25 tons of parts went right back in and got organized so the parts manager, if he came back to life, could see where those parts were. So as a result, this is a really good example of their work. And in fact, that organization and restoration finished in roughly March of this year. Now, if you think the Friends took a break, you would be wrong. Because you can notice that they've already started on Storehouse number 2. So that before and after that they'd like to keep here is now very quickly becoming an after and after. Because soon Storehouse 2 will be in as good a shape as Storehouse 1 is. Folks, if you want more information about the Friends, you can either ask Blair or I at the end of the tour, or you can look at the back of your Ride On magazine, or in the station we have pamphlets and business cards available as well. Alrighty? Now folks, you may have noticed something, and that's our handy dandy wooden platform here. It's almost like we planned it this way. So once again, we're going to be like Aerosmith. We're going to walk this way. And folks, just like that, by using that wooden platform, you've been transported back to 1927.
Oh, lovely.
And the reason I bring that up is that's when the final expansion of this shop complex took place. However, this shop complex has been here in a lot of forms. In its original form, though, since about 1873. Basically, when the railroad reached here, they needed a shop complex, so they built one. The reason they built this is because they needed a complex that supported their locomotives. Being narrow gauge, they couldn't just send them back to Baldwin or up to Altoona to the Pennsylvania Railroad to get them fixed. If they did, it would take months and a lot of money. So if they could do as much of the work here as possible as they could, guess what? It would save a lot of time and a lot of money. And that's why this shop complex is as expansive as it is today. Now though, folks, I mentioned 1927. That's when that final expansion took place. That means this is a very historic building. Which, guess what, means it has historic flooring, which sometimes shifts, creaks, groans, and sometimes even moves. I'm telling you because it's all safe to walk on, but I don't want you to be surprised by it. Alrighty? So folks, You're gonna follow me in through the doors there to a nice center area. And from there, I'll do a little bit of history and you'll get some more picture time. Alrighty? Follow me this way, folks.
Pretty awesome, huh? I've never in my entire years.
Like this is
I've only been in one shop, and
like
that
this
was
is
strong.
prime railroading shop right here. Like this is
Indeed.
This is literally prime steam era. This is
Indeed.
prime steam locomotive.
There's part of a drive wheel back there,
Oh
dude.
my gosh. Oh.
Folks gather in the center area, right?
Holy crap.
The fact that
So
there's
folks,
a steam
filter on in. We got room enough for everybody.
The fact it's all original. Like this is all original too.
So folks, welcome to the
that's
shop
15.
complex. Where we entered here was the wheel shop. Behind you is the actual machine shop where all 25 tons of parts out of Storehouse 1 came from. And then way behind me, sitting on one of the two tracks back there, you'll notice an engine. Folks, that is engine 14. I told you would see it later, well now is later. The reason it's there is it's providing a very good display for the locomotive shop. The reason she's torn down is because initially we thought the second engine in line for restoration was going to be the 14. However, we discovered it needed a little bit more firebox work than we anticipated, and that meant that the boiler would likely have to get lifted off of the frame. So instead, we moved number 15 up to be second in line. She's currently undergoing that restoration in our machine shop and over in the roundhouse. But it means that we have a very nice display of the locomotive shop thanks to the 14. Next to the 14, on my left, your right, is the boiler shop. That's where they can do a lot of the boiler sheet rolling and boiler repair. And then through the windows back over here is actually the car shop where those 300 steel freight cars were built. Now folks, the heart of this complex is actually that brick structure right there. That's the home of two boilers. Those two boilers supplied steam for roughly 3 purposes, with one of them being the primary purpose. And that primary purpose is actually right in front of those boilers. That single cylinder steam engine right there with its 7-foot tall flywheel works through a series of leather and canvas belts and a lot of line shafts and pulleys. Was hooked up to every single machine in this complex, as well as a few more over in the blacksmith shop and over in the foundry. In fact, it was powerful enough it could drive all those machines at once if it needed to. Not that it ever needed to. Second purpose for that steam, and kind of the first of the secondary purposes, is actually through the double doors back by Blair with the glass tops. Through those double doors is a steam-driven electric generator. That's right, they had electricity back then, and it was to drive all the lights. Sometimes I get a question of, can we turn on more lights in order to get better pictures?
No.
The answer is no. The reason the answer is no is this is actually the historical amount of lighting that they had back then. That's actually why there's so many windows in this place. But the fun fact here is, folks, it wasn't just the shop complex that got electricity for lighting. It was also the entire company town of Rock Hill Furnace. That's right, Rock Hill Furnace was a company town. And while you may have sold your salt to the company store, you got electricity for free from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. If you're a late reader, you had to do it by candlelight. Folks, I mentioned there was a third purpose for that steam earlier on, and that leads me to a question for my audience. How many of you either currently or growing up yourselves or know somebody who has some form of hot water radiant heating? A few of you? Well, guess what? We have hot water radiant heating here too. It's just very hot water in the form of steam. Although if you look along the walls, you'll see what looks like piping being stacked. Folks, that is steam heat radiator piping, and it fed the entire shop complex here. And if you were high up in the company, either the president, vice president, or superintendent, your home got steam heat courtesy of the companies, which was kind of a nice perk. At any given point in this shop complex, you have about 60 to 70 people working in 2 shifts. And this was actually one of the better paying places to work in the area, and they did take care of their people. In fact, it was so lucrative that they got an hour paid lunch, which was unheard of back then. And to this day, well, I wish I got an hour paid lunch. It'd be kind of nice. But a lot of people know that information, know that many people, and see all the spinny things here, and go, well, wait a minute, was it unsafe? And the answer is, not really. Back in those days, yeah, you could pinch your fingers thanks to the belts and pulleys, but you very much had a personal responsibility to work safely. The reason is, back in those days, there was no unemployment. There was no workman's comp, there was no insurance. If you were out of work injured, unless you had a son that could take over for you, you were likely out of a job and out of a house. So while it was kind of cutthroat in that way, they did try to take care of their people. And to my knowledge, there is no recorded death in the shop during the entire time the railroad was operating. So very high safety standards, and very much a personal responsibility to work safely. On that note, folks, I want to give you as much time to take pictures as possible, but like the Roundhouse, there is a couple of guidelines. Guideline number 1 is, if you see a roped off area,
Don't go there.
don't go beyond it because it's blocking a pit. Additionally, it's also blocking off the entrance to the car shop. That is the domain of our 3-hour extended tour. So unfortunately, I can't let you over there, but you're more than welcome to peek through the windows into there. Additionally, there's an alleyway behind the boilers. Please don't go back there. It's a little tight, a little dark, a little damp. I don't want anybody getting stuck. But last but not least, please don't leave the machine shop until I gather us to leave. Otherwise, the time and space is yours.
Oh my. I am. Look at this. They got some wheels up in the lathe. Yeah, wheels in the lathe.
Just chilling.
Yeah. Passenger cars in there.
14 is kind of gutted right now.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's awesome. This is
You can see the markings for their ultrasonic stuff.
oh yeah.
They have the ultrasonic, the thickness of the boiler. Check.
I just still can't get over the fact that this is all
It is, Colin. Shop. Just wow. It is. I am. Whole torn down locomotive. Show shop complex. My.
That's how the pulleys work?
Folks, this is your couple of minute remaining warning. Couple of minutes remaining.
Tools. Oh my. Large engine lathes. This is just amazing. An air compressor.
think that's what that is.
Yep. I'd know. Hey, Colin. Over here. We found an air compressor. I think we found 14's air compressor over there.
You found 14 blocks?
Air compressor. Follow. It's over here. I think that might be part of a dynamo there. And This is just amazing. Let's go on and meander. Yeah, we found 14's, or I believe 14's air compressor back there.
Look at that pressure gauge.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, for a shop, it's
Pretty nice. Really.
Yeah, we're pretty proud.
very intricate too.
You should, yeah.
National Park Service would have put plexiglass walls up and redone the floors, and so that you could like made it like a theme park, kind of like where you couldn't get wander around amongst the machines like we have. So by having it as a landmark like this, people can actually be a part of it.
This is all a historic landmark.
It is a national historic landmark.
We just,
I'm glad
It's
that's labeled
amazing.
as that.
we caveat, don't touch.
Well, you can.
You can, but you'll take something home with you.
Yeah, you can touch, but just be aware of that.
So you will take a souvenir right instantly. And you get it on the right stuff on your clothes, it'll be there, so you'll have a souvenir for life.
Alrighty, folks. As we gather back up here, I'm going to start the end of my tour, and I usually start the end of my tour with a sincere thank you. I'm a volunteer. Blair's a volunteer. We don't get paid to do this. We do this because we love this. And we wouldn't be able to do this if you folks didn't come and take a tour today. So sincerely from Blair and I, as well as the railroad and all the volunteers here, thank you for taking a tour today, because if you didn't, we'd probably be a little sad because we really like sharing the history of this place. So once again, thank you for taking a tour. On our way out, we're going to stay as a group, but as we do, we have 2 more locations you get to peek into as we walk out. And that would be the Black Shop on my right, your left, and the Foundry on my left, your right. I can let you peek in, I just can't let you walk in, unfortunately. Alrighty? Once again, thank you for taking the tour, folks, and follow me this way.
Shikon, there's part of a drive wheel over there.
There's a lot.
Part of a locomotive's drive wheel.
Or just some wheels in general.
Most likely a driver.
Maybe.
Some axles. This place is genuinely
I told
amazing.
you it was a time capsule.
It genuinely is. And
Really?
I love it.
Like, look in there. That's just like.
I know.
That was just stuff like been in 1950s.
Indeed.
Stuff that dates back to the 20s too.
That is, yeah.
So once again, folks, if you want peeks, you can.
Look at the wheels behind you, Brian.
Yeah, I see wheels.
It's a lot of wheels.
Yeah.
Hey, Blair.
This is just amazing.
Really
Genuinely.
It is.
Alrighty, folks, as we gather back up here, we're going to keep moving this way. We have a handy gravel path, and I promise I'll let you out the easy way. Nobody's going to have to do any Olympic tryouts in the hurdle department in order to leave the rail yard.
Yeah, thankfully.
What?
Gas thing.
Yeah.
Or I should say,
I don't know.
Diesel.
I don't know if we do really use it. Oh, I think for the locomotive.
yes, well, they're diesels. Like M7.
No, that's an electric locomotive, totally.
Oh, really?
That's totally an electric.
That's a GE 55 ton.
Oh, it's a 55 tonner, nice.
Okay, so I was close.
Fine, I was
250
joking.
horsepower
I know.
Detroit diesel.
Well, it would act like it was a joke. Like, you act like I was being serious. I was
Yeah.
messing with you. That it was an electric, but I know dang well that it's a diesel.
Yes, I know.
Do you?
Yes, Colin.
Do you know?
Yes.
Does he know?
Frankly, if there was ever a locomotive here that was kind of the MVP, I would
Okay.
actually consider it the M7. This place would not have opened as quickly as it did
Without that thing.
without it.
Yeah, I was there. I was there the first time when that thing was it was in operation, running the trains.
Yeah?
Yep.
It's a good little engine. It looks
Oh, yeah.
nice,
It is a
clean.
nice
Yeah.
engine.
They have something like that at the Colorado Railroad
They
Museum.
have a sister engine.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's just painted in a different color
Yep.
scheme.
So once again, folks, thank you for taking the tour today. I promise I'll let you out the easy way here.
Yeah.
Do my best.
This place is amazing. Good job everyone for this.
Do our best.
Crud. Got attached to my shoe. Yeah.
where is
I see your parents. Okay. Well, Colin.
it for the Alco?
Opinion.
M7. I gotta ask that Blair person about.
Opinion on the tour, Colin.
Huh?
Opinion on the tour.
It was awesome.
Good.
Really felt like you were stepping back into the early 20th, 19th century.
Yep.
Late 19th, early 20th century.
Yep. Indeed.
I think it's awesome the fact everything's original. Like in the shops, it's all original.
It is.
Like it's not replicated. It is the original stuff that worked on those Mikados in there.
I know. Yeah.
I'm just telling YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere by the endless sea, where the moon and water meet. Somewhere close to harmony, when the world is sound asleep.
Maybe. It's a Palco. Porter body. Well, Porter body. Alco motor. This place is just amazing. Diesels to the east cross top. Oh, the switch isn't set. Hey, look at what I got. Parked on locomotive. Howdy. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.
Shine, oh, here's mud in your eye. Going away from Shiloh Town.